Hey hockey fans, are you still confused as to how the 2020 NHL Draft Lottery is going to work? Well, I'm here to help. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clay Emo on Instagram, I'm the founder of the GLCBC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks Take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Wednesday, May the 27th. This is where you get Canucks and NHL insight that's both positive and timely. So yes, this is a Canucks-centric channel, but today, I'm not going to focus on the Vancouver Canucks. I'm going to focus on the NHL in general, and in particular on this 2020 NHL Draft Lottery, which seems to be confusing a lot of people. So if you're new to this channel or if you happen to stumble across this video, usually I do everything in one take. So no jump cuts, no edits, no transitions, no titles, no graphics, no pictures, no diagrams, no text. So for better or for worse, you're going to have to rely on my communication skills. So here we go. I want you to think of this as 2, 2, and 3. 2 parts, 2 groups of teams, and 3 lottery draws. 2, 2, 3. So let's talk about each of those 3 elements, and then we'll talk about how this is going to work overall. 2 parts. The first part of the NHL Draft Lottery will be on June 26th. That's established. The second part of the NHL Draft Lottery, if needed, will be between the qualifying round and then the true playoff round of the 16 teams. And very quickly, for those that aren't sure, or if you need a refresher, the bottom 7 teams, teams 25 to 31, they are not playing any more hockey this season. However, the top 24 teams are. Teams 1 through 8, 4 in each conference, are getting byes. Teams 9 through 24 are playing against each other, 8 in each conference. That means there's 4 qualifying series, and then that means you're going to have, in each conference, that means you're going to have 8 winners going forward, and that means you're going to have 8 losers. So that's very important to know. Those 8 winners join the 8 teams that got a bye, and they make your round of 16 where the true playoffs start. So 2 parts. Part 1 is on June 26th. Part 2 is between the qualifying round and the playoffs, the start of the playoffs, but part 2 is only if necessary. I'll get to that in a second. Second thing, 2 groups of teams. I mentioned this just a few seconds ago. There's the 7 teams that didn't make the playoffs. That's the first group of teams. We'll call them the non-playoff teams. And in essence, it's Detroit, Ottawa, San Jose, LA, Anaheim, New Jersey, and Buffalo. Now, San Jose's pick goes to Ottawa because of that Erik Karlsson trade. So really, you're only looking at 6 teams, but for all intents and purposes, it's 7 spots, 7 slots, 7 teams that you need to consider. Ottawa just gets 2 of them. So it's Detroit, Ottawa, LA, Anaheim, New Jersey, and Buffalo. So that's the first group of teams. We'll call them the non-playoff teams. The second group of teams, we don't know who they are yet. We'll call them the qualifying losers, or better yet, the placeholders. Qualifying loser sounds a little negative. We'll call them the placeholders because really that's what they are right now. They are simply labeled as team A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And because those series haven't even been played yet, but we know that there's going to be 8 losers of that qualifying series. So that's the second group of teams. So the first group of teams, the non-playoff teams. The second group of teams are the placeholders or the qualifying losers. 7 plus 8, 15 teams. They all are ranked right now, or they're being allocated draft odds. Detroit obviously having the best chance of winning the lottery. So then 1 through 7, the non-playoff teams get ranked and then slotted, and then 8 through 15, the placeholders, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, with descending odds all the way down to the 15th and final team. So those are the 2 groups of teams. So 2, 2, and now the 3. There's 3 lottery picks, 3 lottery draws for the first overall pick, the second overall pick, and the third overall pick. That's the easiest part to understand. Now, I think a piece of my chair just broke. Now it gets a little more funky. On June 26th, they will have 3 lottery draws for first, second, third overall. The cleanest scenario, the scenario that would mean we don't need a part 2, is if the 3 winning teams all come from the non-playoff group, the first group of teams, the Detroit, Ottawa, LA, Anaheim, New Jersey, and Buffalo group. Because if that's the case, if all 3 winners of the lottery come from that group of teams, then it's simple. You slot them in, 1, 2, and 3. Then the 4 remaining spots of the non-playoff teams, you slot in reverse order points percentage. And then once the qualifying round is done, you take those 8 qualifying losers, slot them into the placeholder slots, again in reverse order of points percentage. None of those teams won the lottery, and then boom, you're done. 1 through 15, you're set, and you don't even need part 2. So again, that's the easiest and cleanest scenario, is that the 3 lottery winners come from the non-playoff teams. Where it gets tricky is if one of the placeholders, one of the qualifying losers, yet to be named, win 1, 2, or even, imagine if they win all three lottery draws. That's highly unlikely, but it's still possible. So picture this, if they win at least, if one of the qualifying losers, if one of the placeholders wins at least one of the three lotteries, then this is what happens. All 8 qualifying losers will have equal odds of winning each lottery, so 12.5%. So let's just presume, for this example, that they win, that the third overall pick goes to one of the 8 qualifying losers, one of the 8 placeholder teams. All 8 teams, because by part 2, we'll now know who those 8 teams are, because they played, all 8 teams will have the exact same number, same odds, 12.5%. So that's different than part 1, right? Where teams 8 through 15, they're only placeholders at the time. They only had odds as high as 6% all the way down to 1. But whether they're going for first, second, or third overall, your odds jump to 12.5% when it comes to you're just the pool of 8 placeholder teams, the 8 qualifying losers. So they basically do that, and if it's 1, 2, or 3, how many draws they have to do, how many they initially won on part 1 on June 26th, they do those draws, and then they award those picks. Then, once those picks are established, once all the top 3 picks have been established, whether they're any mix of group 1 teams or group 2 teams, whatever it is, you put them all in, and then you rank the other 12 teams based on points percentage, obviously reverse points percentage, and naturally, intuitively, any remaining teams from the non-playoff teams, right? They will be slotted first in because they will have a lower points percentage. That's why they're not in the qualifying round in the first place. So I hope that makes sense. I think the biggest thing to remember is 2-2-3. 2 parts, 2 groups of teams, 3 lottery draws. If all 3 lottery draws are won by the first group of teams, the non-playoff teams, then there's only 1 part, right? Because and then you just slot the other 12 teams in reverse points percentage. If, however, at least one of the group 2 teams wins one of the 3 lottery draws, then now we do have a part 2 of the NHL Draft Lottery. All teams, all qualifying losers get equal odds for whatever pick they're trying to allocate of the top 3. So I hope that makes sense. That is the easiest way to think of it. Use that formula of 2, 2, and 3. 2 parts, 2 groups of teams, 3 lottery draws. Let me know what you think. Did that make sense? I know that was a little tough because I didn't use any graphics or anything else, but I would love to know what you think and if that explanation made sense to you, or if you've heard a better explanation without graphics though and without visual aids. I would love for you to point that out to me as well. So leave a comment below. I love to read, react, and reply as always. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.